Hello, and welcome to the 1977 Top Star Wars Podcast, no affiliation. And today we are going to talk about card number 260, Han Solo Harrison Ford. But before we get to that card, we need to talk about this one that I talked about in episode 5. In episode 5, we talked about card number 263, The Courage of Luke Skywalker from Series 4, The Green Border, and how I believed the person pictured in card number 263 was not Mark Hamill. Now, if you're not watching the video, you will see I have it, the card number 263, The Courage of Luke Skywalker, right next to card number 1, the iconic Luke Skywalker card. And you can tell right away from the visual that Mark Hamill in number 1 does not look like supposedly Mark Hamill in card number 263. And what was interesting in the comments of that video, and I will say most people were very polite in their comments, but what was interesting about the comments was that no one really disagreed that card number 263 doesn't look like Mark Hamill. Most everyone agreed with that. But they had different reasons for that card not looking like him. Some people said it was the lighting. Some said it was just the way that they kind of photoshopped the picture. Lots of different reasons were given. The reason I gave was that this was probably his stunt double or someone of the sort that they used for this picture. Now, this set came out in about 1978. Tops, Star Wars themselves, the company was trying to, or Lucasfilms was trying to get out as much product as they possibly could, because they were a little behind the ball when the movie came out. And so my thinking is when it comes to card number 263 was that, they needed some more photos for Series 4. And remember, Series 4 has the most iconic air card probably in the history of cards, just any cards, sports cards, non-sports cards. It has the most iconic error card in the C-3PO error card. So that is in the Series 4 Green Border card. So let's not forget that they were making huge mistakes already in Series 4. So my thinking was, or is that, they needed to get more cards out. They needed some more different photos. And probably at this time, my guess is that the real Mark Hamill and Han Solo, which we're going to get to here in a moment, probably were a little bit more busy now that the stardom and that their stardom was starting to rise, and so they got their stand-in people for the movie to come. Like, who's really going to notice? For the most part, they look close enough. They took some photos in their gear to use in the set. No one would know any better because remember, this was 1978. There was no computers. There was no internet. So, no one can really discuss anything for the most part, for that matter. So that is kind of the theory I go with. And also, let's also not forget, my theory is not as crazy as that there is theories out there that Mark Hamill didn't survive the crash that he had during that time, and that there was a stand-in that was used from that point on. I am not saying that at all, but let's just not forget that there's been some crazy theories out there on Mark Hamill in the crash at that time. So this kind of leads into card number 260. So in the last episode, someone commented that we should take a look at card number 260, Han Solo Harrison Ford. As you can see right there, once again, it's in the Green Border Series 4. And because they've always had this feeling that the person in that photo was not our Harrison Ford. So in the video, I have card number 260 sitting next to the card number 58 from the Blue Series. Definitely Harrison Ford. There's no question about it. And then when you if you can look at both of these photos, there looks like something to be a little bit off. So once again, just like card number 263, this is not Card number 260, Han Solo's Harrison Ford, is not from a shot taking from the actual movie. It is like a promotional type photo taken. And the only thing is, with this card, it's not a zoom in like card number 263. But if we take a little bit closer look at the face, it just doesn't quite look like our Harrison Ford. Now, I'm not going to go as far as I did in episode 5 to say it's not Harrison Ford, but there might be something there, folks. So before we get into the card a little bit more and the pricing, just some general facts about Harrison Ford himself and Series 4. So Series 4 consists of cards numbered 199 to 264. There are 66 total cards in the set, including the controversial, which I mentioned before, C-3PO card number 207, which is, like I said, one of the most famous air cards in the whole hobby of sports collecting. And this was distributed in 15-cent wax packs. Imagine that, 15 cents for a pack of cards, containing 7 cards, 1 sticker, and 1 piece of gum. Interesting fact about Harrison Ford, if you didn't know, many people do, true diehard Star Wars fans kind of know this, but he was still a rising actor, famously working as a carpenter for George Lucas before being cast in American Graffiti and then Star Wars. And then in the late 1970s, before movie merchandising and character branding is what it is today, and I find this super interesting, Topps felt the need to heavily feature the actual actors' names right on the card front or header to help mainstream kids and parents connect the fictional smuggler to the rising human Hollywood star. So it's interesting because when you look at the card, obviously it says Han Solo, but then we have Harrison Ford in little brackets there right below it. So just a little interesting little fact when it comes to card number 260. Now, is this him? I've really zoomed in on the card for those people watching or just listening. So the low resolution and grainy dot matrix color separation used by Topps in 1977, and it might be hard to see in the video, but if you look really close at this card, you can see kind of the dot matrix coloring of the card, kind of blurred the finer details of his face, making him look more like a generic stunt double than the actual actor. So I don't know how I feel because, like I said, I have another card of his right next to it, and like there's no hesitation in knowing that's him. So it's hard to tell. In card 263, like this picture was zoomed in from a shot just like this. Because there's a card just like this of Luke Skywalker as well, and they zoomed in for card 263 for, I guess, just to make more cards, right? But they didn't do that, as far as I know, of Harrison Ford. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Is that Harrison Ford? From a distance, I wouldn't think nothing of it. But when you start looking closer at it, there might be something there. Anyways, let's look at the pricing. Now, there's 403 total graded cards in PSA of card number 260, so not a lot by any means. There are only 4 PSA 10s. And that seems to also be kind of a common theme as we are going through this, that the 10s, there is low numbers of all these cards. There's 67 PSA 9s, 152 PSA 8s, the highest amount of any grade, 77 PSA 7s, and what is interesting, after the PSA 7s, so there's 40 PSA 6s. The total from PSA 6 to PSA 2 is less than the total for all the PSA 7s. So here's kind of my thinking when it comes to this. Obviously, people who are grading cards for the most part have a pretty good eye, and you can see from card number 260 here, the centering is way off. So if you pulled this fresh out of a pack, it doesn't mean you're gonna have a great card to grade because the centering is terrible on this card, as it is on a lot of the cards. So obviously, if people don't think they have a chance at getting a good grade, they're just not going to send this card in, which makes perfect sense. And that also explains why there's such a low number of like low grades on this card as well. What is interesting though, and I mentioned this I did a video on the top 10 sales of Star Wars cards from June 2026, and this card actually made that list because an autograph card of this, and it had an auto of a PSA 9, and I think the card was just graded authentic, sold on June 25th for $2,410. So a pretty good price of the signature of Harrison Ford on this card. And once again, I would love to know his personal thoughts of this card, because like I said, there is a chance this could not be him. So there hasn't been a whole lot of recent sales of the graded version of this card, understandably, because there just isn't a whole lot of graded cards out there of this. So back in April 20th to be exact, a PSA 9 of this card sold on eBay for $356. Then back in January 24th, another PSA 9 sold for $203. So you can see over a couple months period of time, you saw quite an increase in the value of the card, which is understandable. A PSA 7, now I think this is a great deal. A PSA 7 back in October of 2025 sold for $15, and another PSA 7 back in September of 2025 sold for $10. So to get a PSA 7 of any card in this set for $10 to me is a really good price. So, and then on a side note, which I think is interesting, back in February of 2025, so well over a year ago, a PSA 2 sold for $15. Okay, so to finish off this podcast, we are ranking the top 10 cards in the set. So we have right now we're 5 cards in. So where it is, card number 260 fall. Right now, the card that I have in the video next to it, card number 58, is sitting in the number 1 spot, as it deservedly should, because it is a fantastic card of Harrison Ford's. And this one next to card number 58, card number 260, is an okay card of Harrison, because he honestly has a ton of really good cards in this set. A lot of really good cards. So I think this card is going to fall into the number 5 spot and push our card number 263 down to number 6. So we'll have Harrison Ford, number 58 on number 1, Darth Vader just strangling a rebel at the number 2 spot. The double photos of C3PO and R2D2 at number 3, and the Grand Moff Tarkin rookie card sitting at number 4, and then this Han Solo is sitting at number 5, and that won't last very long, because honestly, I just don't think it's that great of a card of his. He is in his iconic outfit, which I do like, and holding his laser gun there, but other than that, it's just a generic kind of background. The background does not go with the green border. I guess it kind of stands out, but hey. So let me know what you think of this card number 260. Like always, try to keep the comments polite. I do love reading all the comments, and I try to respond to them all if possible. And also, too, if you haven't, like I said, this card was suggested by a viewer or listener of this podcast. So if you have a card that you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments, and we'll try to get that up here soon on the 1977 Top Star Wars podcast. So until next time, may the Force be with you.